My first, I would say, exposure to electric vehicles was during my stint with Gati Logistics. We are the first ones to introduce last mile deliveries through electric vehicles way back in 2017. We focus more on women empowerment. We have 150 plus women in Kevadia, Gujarat, driving these electric three-wheelers. Similarly, around 200 plus women in Delhi driving these electric three-wheelers, and of course 100 plus in Hyderabad. People generally aspire to be leaders, but only when you go to the top you understand that you don't actually sit on the, I would say, a throne of roses, but those are throne of thorns. The obligation to succeed, the necessity to grow is no longer a luxury, it's a need. You understand the market needs, you understand both said and unsaid needs of the market, and accordingly you bring the product and solution. The cost of not making a decision is always higher than the cost of making a wrong decision.
Who motivate you?
My favorite book where I get a lot of inspiration every day is Bible. Be curious always, right? And do not ever feel ashamed of trying to know things that you do not know.
Welcome to our podcast. I'm Navneet here, and today I'm going to have an amazing conversation with Mr. Rajeev. He's a visionary leader in the forefront of innovation in the field of electric vehicle and sustainable mobility. So before starting, could you please introduce a bit about yourself, how you started, how you're doing, and what is the important work you are doing in the field of growing in industry?
First of all, thank you very much, Navneet, for having me on this podcast. I see this as a great opportunity to take some good message to, I would say, a lot of listeners and then the followers that this particular channel has. To introduce myself, I'm Rajeev YSR. I've done my bachelor's and master's from IIT Madras 2010. Then worked with companies such as TVS Motors, Bosch, Mahindra and Mahindra, Gati Logistics, Ather Motors. Also, for about a year and a half, I worked as head investments promotions for the state of Andhra Pradesh, government of Andhra Pradesh, and where I drafted the EV policy and also mobilized a lot of investments for the state. And then for a year pause, I went to US and finished my MBA at MIT Sloan School of Management, Boston. Came back and started multiple initiatives, and one of those initiatives is ThunderPlus. My first, I would say, exposure to electric vehicles was during my stint with Gati Logistics. So that was in the year 2017-18 when IKEA, if at all you are aware, right? IKEA came to India. As you all know, IKEA is a very, very, I would say, sustainable, conscious company. Everything that they do, they see what is the impact on carbon footprint, what is the impact on greenhouse gas emissions. So they measure and they do it very, very consciously. At that point of time, Gati happened to be the last mile delivery partner for IKEA. So as part of the agreement that Gati had with IKEA, the last mile deliveries were to happen through sustainable mobility, that is through electric vehicles, starting with 20% and then 100% in the next 5 years. So that was when I started my journey with Gati Logistics as well as with electric vehicles. In fact, we are the first ones to introduce last mile deliveries through electric vehicles way back in 2017. What started just with IKEA, we mimicked and implemented that in Amazon, Big Basket, Flipkart, Grofers, DHL, Blue Dart. You name the logistics companies or e-commerce companies, we were the first ones to introduce the deliveries through electric vehicles. And then later on, I moved on and we collaborated and started a company called Tata Motors. What is Tata Motors into? And before even I go into what is Tata Motors into, let me talk about the legacy of this group. The first electric bus that ever ran on the Indian routes was manufactured by us.
Wow.
In fact, we did field trials at as high as Rohtang Pass in Himachal Pradesh, Mumbai, and the number of buses that we see right now, all those initial trials were done by us, and later on we sold that company, and now that company is known as Electra Green, for those
Great.
who are aware. After that, we started another manufacturing company called Tata Motors, where we were manufacturing electric three-wheelers, passenger and cargo. And as part of the same, we started deploying these operations of mobility cargo services for Amazon's Big Baskets under a brand called Ito. And for passenger, we focus more on women empowerment. We have 150 plus women in Kevadia, Gujarat, driving these electric three-wheelers. Similarly, around 200 plus women in Delhi driving these electric three-wheelers. And of course, 100 plus in Hyderabad. So total, we have around 2,000 plus vehicles running on the roads. And then the journey of ThunderPlus anyway, I'm going to talk.
Okay, let's talk about leadership.
Mhm.
Okay. I know leadership and making decision is a quite harder step always. So I'm very curious to know, are there moment or time where you feel like that this is the decision I'm going to make, and how you are like how you implemented that with your team and with your company?
People generally aspire to be leaders. Why? Because they assume that अरे बॉस होने के बाद सब ठीक हो जाता है, कोई इनको काम नहीं देता, सिर्फ वही काम देते रहते, right? And nobody to question him also, he may not be accountable. It is always good to go to the top. But only when you go to the top, you understand that you don't actually sit on the, I would say, a throne of roses, but those are throne of thorns. Why? Because as long as you are basically at the mid-level or at the level of an organization, you are accountable and responsible for only yourself. But once you reach the helm of the organization, you are accountable and responsible not just for yourself, for your team, their families, their children, everything, right? So the obligation to succeed, the necessity to grow is no longer a luxury, it's a need. So that way, every decision that you take as a leader will definitely have its own impact, either in a positive way or in a negative way. And hence, leaders in general are always at a tremendous pressure to make decisions. Let me reflect upon some of the decisions that we took, which helped us to be where we are now. So if you look at ThunderPlus as an organization, initially ThunderPlus was just a charging infrastructure department, developing charging infrastructure for those buses I told you. In fact, in Pune, Bikaner Nagar, we have India's largest charging infra of 5 megawatt capacity, where 120 plus buses can be charged simultaneously. And then after we started Tata Motors, this has again become a charging infrastructure department to develop charging infrastructure for those three-wheelers, cargo and passenger. Last year, when I took over this particular role in the company, we had an option. Either continue to remain as a charging infrastructure department or rewrite a new future for ourselves. So we had then together as a team came forward and we decided that, hey, these are the 4 things that we are going to do from now on. Number 1, until then we were only manufacturing chargers, but those are consumed internally. We said, hey, let's manufacture chargers and go to the world. From where we started our first division of manufacturing and selling of chargers. A lot of innovation into it. Of course, I'm going to talk about it. Second one, we said, why don't we also develop the public charging solutions? Until now, all the charging stations that we develop are only specific for private. Why don't we develop public charging solutions? Again, a decision because to set up, say, for example, a 240 kilowatt or a 360 kilowatt megawatt charging station, it cost the upwards of 1 CR. And charging business, as you know, is not like a restaurant business where you start a business today and tomorrow onwards you would see customers walking in. Electric vehicle as an industry is still in a nascent stage in India, right? So to deploy that 1 plus CR and to wait for the money to come in, how long? How many more days? How many more months? Will the ROI work out? Will the IRR work out, right? These are the questions, but we decided, no, let's get in. We will figure out how do we bring the revenue. So manufacturing of charging and sales, and then public charging stations. Third important thing is we started also developing dedicated parking and charging solutions. And finally, we started doing EPCs. Now, this is interesting. EPCs is, okay, you have a charger that needs to be installed. So, whether it is the civil work, whether it is the power infrastructure work, the cabling, routing, everything is called EPC. In an EV ecosystem, generally what happens is a charger manufacturer will not be a charge point operator. Charge point operator means one who runs those chargers. A charge point operator will not be an EPC guy. EPC guy who engineers, procures and commissions this. So all these three are three exclusive departments. That's where we said, this is again very, very bold leadership decision, right? Because we really need to now, if we don't define this, I'm neither a charger manufacturer, nor a charge point operator, neither a CPO. So what we have done, we said, those products which are already there in the market, I am not going to reinvent the wheel. I will focus on those products which are not there in the market. That's where I started focusing on a 3.3 kilowatt universal charger, which we call Har Ghar Thunder, which means every house should have a charging point, and that charging point should become a revenue generating aspect, more like an STD booth business. No manpower, no monitoring, simple QR code, scan, charge, pay. Second, when the whole world is focused on fast charging for 4-wheelers and buses, we are the first ones to focus on fast charging for 2-wheelers and 3-wheelers. That's where we call Chai Pay Charge. So from these 3.3 kilowatt and a Chai Pay Charge perspective, as a manufacturer, I am the market leader at this point of time. But when it comes to other fast chargers, I collaborate with my competitors and I take their products. And my competitors, when it comes to these products, collaborate with me and take my products. Second thing, there is an possibility that I can either compete with my charge point operator as other companies as a competitor, or I can collaborate. So what I've said to my competitors is, hey, you know what? You set up your charge points, doesn't really matter. But the entire engineering, procurement, commissioning, and operations and maintenance of that, including demand generation, will be taken care by me. So you don't have to do the heavy lifting work. We will do that work. That's how we have started collaborating with our own competitors with whom we work right now, right? So these are certain decisions where we had to make, which really helped us to become a 10 crore top line company in the very first year of our operations.
Okay, so you're talking about competitors. So as I know, branding is like more important for every business in today era. So how you are going to define branding and marketing?
See, most of the times, right, the tech founders think that branding and marketing are bakwas cheeze, right? As long as you have a great product, people are going to come and buy. But somebody needs to go out and tell them that, hey, a product as such is available and it is great, right? So I strongly believe as much as technology is important, as much as innovation is important, so much is the importance of marketing and branding, because people need to be aware that you exist. So you cannot discount marketing and branding. In fact, if you look at ThunderPlus, we invest very heavily. See, for example, when I spoke about Har Ghar Thunder, right? That's a campaign. People think, Har Ghar Thunder, Har Ghar Tiranga, Har Ghar Thunder. And when I say Chai Pay Charge, wow, Chai Pay Chacha to hai, Chai Pay Charge bhi hai, right? Now, these campaigns do not come just like that, right? You need to invest your time, money, efforts, and resources into it, right? And every good thing that you do needs to be amplified and told in the market. That's the reason every, I would say, collaboration, every partnership that we do, we speak it out very loud and clear that, hey, this is what we have done, say, for example, with Tata Motors. This is what we have done, say, with India Post. This is what we have done, say, with South Central Railways. This is what we have done, say, with Ather, right? So you cannot discount marketing and branding. They are as important as your product, technology, and innovation.
Okay, so like the question I have asked you about branding and marketing. So we all know that team is an important part of like our business. So how you stay motivated and focused along with your team, how you are keep on pushing them and making decision for them without losing the quality whatever you are providing to your customer.
Let me share a small example. How long does it take to travel by bus from here to Chandigarh?
3 hours.
3 to 4 hours. Okay. Let me put you two scenarios. Right. Scenario number one, you are going to Chandigarh because there is a wonderful wedding that's happening. You're going to be part of it for the rest of the day. Lot of sangeet, a lot of bharat, a lot of dance, etc. A good food. You're going to meet all your close friends, your families, etc. is one. Right. Second thing, everything of that what I told you exists, but just that you are not aware. Now look at this. So you have two passengers in the bus. Both are going to the same destination. Both of them are going to be part of the same excitement, same function, whatsoever. But one guy is aware of what's going to happen, but the other guy has no clue what's going to happen. Now let's look at the emotions that both of them go through. The person who is aware of what's going to happen, he is in anticipation, excitement. He's like, wow, when will I finish my 3 hours journey? Because I'm going to meet my classmates, I'm going to meet my friends, right? The bride is my friend, the groom is my friend, etc. He looks with a lot of excitement and he enjoys every moment. Now look at the other guy who is absolutely not aware of what's happening. 3 hours. How do I sit in the bus? क्या करूँ मैं यहाँ पे? Boring लग रहा है. You're able to understand, right? What's the difference between both of them? One guy was aware of the vision and hence is enjoying the journey towards the destination. Other guy has no clue about what that vision, what the destination is, and hence for him the journey is monotonous, the journey is boring, the journey is tiring, and the journey doesn't really appeal to him. Now why I shared this analogy is a leader's responsibility is the vision that he is able to see, the vision that he is able to articulate, the vision that he is able to build. He should also be able to communicate with the same passion and commitment to everyone in the team. Are you here with me? When you do that, imagine the entire bus is of passengers who are aware that we are going to be a place where there is going to be a wedding. What a joy, right? What a galata, what a fun, what a hangama in that bus. The journey would not be like a boring journey for them, right? So where the reflection of that is, even if you are a CEO or a founder or a CXO, it doesn't really matter. You need to ensure that your grandeur vision and the goal that you intend to go must be communicated with the same rigor and passion to the last mile employee of your company. When you do that, you are like that shared bus where everybody is enjoying the journey because they know where they're going. For example, in Jan 2024, when I took over this company, the top line, the sales or the revenue was 8.3 lakhs per month, 8.3 lakhs per month. I called my team and said, hey, you know what? One day we will do 1 CR per month.
Wow.
That's almost like what? 8.3 lakhs to 1 CR is almost 12x, 13x growth. Sorry, not even 8.3, I think it's around 5 lakhs or so. Team was like, साहब तो मजाक कर रहे हैं, right? 5 lakhs per month to 1 CR, 20x growth, कैसा होगा? The same team, Jan 2025, we did 83 lakhs per month. Look at this. Jan 2024, 8.3 lakhs. Jan 2025, 83 lakhs, 10x growth. Team, kuch to? Alright. Then I told my team, hey, you know what? Let's do at least 1 CR per month. 1 CR per month hoga, nahi hoga. March, we did 1 CR plus. March, we closed at 2.9 CR. And when we looked at the entire year from April 2024 to March 2025, when we closed our books, the team together has done 10 CR as a top line. Right? Now, again, I wouldn't say I have done it. The team has done it, right? Now you see the fun. Then I said, hey, great, we have achieved 10 CR. Shall we do 100 CR next year? You're able to understand? But then, since I already shared that vision of 1 CR per month to 10 CR per year, now the team is excited. Ki, "Arey, we have done that. Probably we'll do this also." And we have been consistently doing. I hope there will be a time, few months from now, where we'll again gather like this and then discuss how we did 100 crore per annum as a, I would say, a revenue, right? So I think as a leader, it is important for him to not just visualize the grandeur vision, but it is equally important for him to share that vision with the same passion and rigor so that everybody chases that particular vision and the journey will not be difficult, the journey will not be futile, the journey will not be tiring. It is exciting.
You're all going to enjoy that piece of cake.
Absolutely correct.
So you have created a job portal, let's say, for tribal women, and this is the India's first EV zone, I believe. So how you can suggest leaders to balance like making money while doing good things for society?
Brilliant. Very good question. See, for any business leader, first and foremost important thing is making money. He must make money, right? Then all the other empowerment, etc., comes into picture. So let me not give you a wrong perception ki wo noble cheez karo, ye noble cheez karo. No. As a founder CEO, you are here to make money. Again, make money in the sense, while you offer the products and services, you collect, and then that's how you make money. That's how the country grows. That is how it adds up to GDP, right? But it's a beautiful question. How do you balance it out, right? So that's where, as a leader, you need to understand. For example, I'll tell you. I'll talk about multiple examples. Gujarat, Kevadia. Context. The tribal families were displaced. Why? Because we wanted to build the government wanted to build the Statue of Unity. And then something needs to be done. Now I had two options. One is provide similar kind of a training to the men of the home and deploy. Then I thought two things. Number one, men are generally not that flexible, right? Thoda rigid hai wo. Second, when it comes to responsibility, they are not as good as women. Third, when it comes to hospitality, nobody to beat women. And Kevadia is a tourist place. We need less absenteeism. We need guests to be really feeling warmth. And the sense of responsibility, when you empower these women, right, they can buy the dress that they want to wear. They can put the kids in the school that they want to. They can give good, nutritious food to the family. Right? When we thought of it, then we decided, no, let's do something hatke. Okay. Now, because of which, what happens? Number one, these vehicles were maintained well because they handle it smoothly. Second, the absenteeism is less because women are more committed. Third, zero customer complaints. Why? Because they always read, "Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Baithiye." And then when people see that a woman is driving the three-wheeler, right, they also get encouraged to speak.
Yeah.
Then the stories are exchanged, the lives are exchanged, right? So that way there is a connect. So from a business perspective, my metrics, driver absenteeism, less, customer satisfaction, more, vehicle uptime, better. I make good money. And from a social perspective, I am empowering these women, right? So it is a myth that if you focus on empowerment, you can't get profits. Or if you focus on profits, you cannot really empower. No. As a leader, it's your responsibility. And only you can actually balance them both. You can empower women while you are actually making money. Another example. I told you that we have done Kanyakumari to Kashmir as a all women drive. Okay, 30 days may we covered from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. Why? Is because we have partnered with Uber, India's largest aggregator, where we said we are going to onboard at least 5,000 women as three-wheeler electric vehicle drivers across the country. Now, we did this particular march is number one to demonstrate women that it is possible that three-wheelers can be driven by women. Second, these are durable. Kanyakumari to Kashmir, nothing happened to these vehicles. Right? Now again, why? Simple. Cancellation by women drivers is very, very less compared to cancellation by men. Are you able to understand? Second, again, the way women maintain themselves, hygiene, and then the way they treat the customers. So Uber is happy, we are happy. Third, regularity to job and the desire to do well. Because for electric vehicles, the more they run, the better it is for them to earn, right? So again, from a commercial perspective, I get better marks employing women compared to, not that I have something against men, right? But this is just choice. So I'm more than happy right now to say that 30 to 35% of my fleet is run by women drivers, and all the metrics in that fleet, whether it is vehicle uptime, whether it is regularity to job, whether it is customer satisfaction, everything, all those metrics speak very high and positive about this initiative.
So, working with the government rule and the policy and the new idea, it can be tricky, I believe. So, how did you balance that innovation, especially in the industry, in the field of EV space, I believe?
So you actually asked me two questions.
Yeah.
Question number one, how do you manage innovation? Question number two, how do you manage the government, right?
Along with the government policy
Government
and
policies.
the new idea.
Correct.
Yeah.
So first, let me focus upon innovation, right? So what is innovation? Innovation is identifying a solution for a problem which was never articulated or told. And in the process of building that solution, you either make the solution so simple that it is scalable, or you make the solution so simple that it is affordable, right? The costs come down. So, in our journey, there are many innovative, I would say, projects that we have done. Let me talk about each one of them, right? If you notice electric vehicles in the few years ago, there were many news items that, right, the vehicles were burned out, the house was caught on fire, so many lives were lost. Then it went deep. Why was it happening? Interestingly, what I understood is, yeah, Indian customers are value conscious customers. उसमें तो कोई doubt नहीं है. But what I noticed is, our customers are Indians. They spend 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees in buying a nice electric two-wheeler. But when it comes to charging, they still use the same old 16 amps plugs. Now, what's the problem with this is because those plugs are not designed for electric vehicles. Electric vehicles draw higher amps of current. So you need to have minimum 9 square millimeter wiring there. You need to have industrial plugs to withstand those temperatures. Because of which the short circuit actually starts in the plug board and then it quickly spreads to the batteries. And of course, batteries are highly, I would say, inflammable. And that's where you get the accidents. Then I went one step deeper. Why are the customers not investing in buying those chargers? Then I realized that a similar charger of such kind of a capacity costs anywhere between 25,000 to 30,000 rupees in the market. Then I realized, okay, one is awareness, second one is probably the cost competitiveness. So I developed a charger, a 3.3 kilowatt universal charger that can charge two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers at a cost less than $99. IP67 protect from dust, rain and sun, and ARIS certified, metal body, and because the positioning is less than $99, that means less than 8,000 rupees, it is affordable by everybody. So, innovation one. Second thing, even then I saw people not very comfortable purchasing it. Then I went one step forward and said, hey, you know what? This product, when you want to use for your vehicle, you can use it. But when you're not using it, this can generate revenue. Very similar to the old STD booth business. You have a coin box, people come, put a coin, speak, and then at the end of the day, you collect money. And you don't have to monitor that. So that's when we started scan, charge, pay. Anybody can come, scan, pay, and charge. So this particular product has not only become a consumer product for that customer, but it also became a revenue generating asset. That's an innovation. You're able to understand? Yeah. Now we started talking to the governments, we started talking to NGOs, we started talking to Infosys Foundation, Asia Development Banks. Hey, we said, hey, you work among women. Most of these women have tailoring shops, right, boutique shops, tiffin centers, etc. Why don't you set up these chargers outside their shops? It gives them at least 5 to 10,000 rupees every month without them doing anything. Wow, right? So that's what is innovation. Second innovation that we brought is we set up charging infrastructure for a company called NMDC, National Mineral Development Corporation. Now, the beauty here is they have huge mines where the grid is not accessible. So they gave us a problem statement that, hey, Rajiv, we want to deploy electric trucks, dump trucks there. But our biggest challenge is, yes, our depots have charging infra, but when the vehicles go to the mines, they don't have charging infra. So that was when we acquired a company based out of Germany called Me Energy. What does it mean? Methanol, ethanol energy. What happens? This is basically a generator that burns methanol and ethanol, again, zero carbon footprint fuels. And they have two guns, this particular, which dispenses 150 kilowatt each, CCS2. So now with this, what happens? This particular product ensures that it is independent of grid. So that's how you bring in, you understand the market needs, you understand both said and unsaid needs of the market, and accordingly you bring the product and solution which will add value to them. That's in terms of innovation. Now, the second question is, how do you do it along with the government? See, any person who starts a business with government as a customer is doomed to fail. Yes. If you are thinking that, hey, I'm going to start this business and government will be my first customer, trust me, you are starting a business to fail. Nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with the government, but that's how the system is. You cannot start a business considering government would purchase, because for government, purchasing your product is never the mission. They have bigger plethora of things in which if it fits, it fits. So what does it mean? That means you need to identify who your customers and what your market is. Government can be an enabler. Government policies can enable your product, but you cannot build your business models based on the government as a customer. So how do we do? So what do we expect the government to do? Create platforms. Say for example, government said in Delhi, the pollution levels are almost 170 milligrams per cubic meter. The health of the people is really upset. So I am not going to allow the registration of diesel vehicles from 2030, example. So that's an enabling. Right? You can now start developing electric vehicles because you know that the government has already given a mandate or a platform that beyond 2030 they won't. Second, I will not allow diesel vehicles for deliveries. I will not allow petrol bikes for deliveries. Again, that's an enablement. Right? And government might say, hey, all my government offices, I'm going to set up public charging stations so that people don't have to worry. So government can always enable. You should be able to leverage that and build your business. Never ever build your business for the government. You are doomed to fail.
My next question is, so you have grown ThunderPlus fast in this new market. So I have a very interesting question for you. Like, let's say if ThunderPlus is a movie, how you're going to define it? Like from your college life to your friend circle until now, like whatever journey you are going.
This is what most of my customers also ask. How is it that you grew to 10 crores in the very first year, right? I tell them, hey, simple. I am not the first in the industry. I didn't come first. There are many players who have already come. Neither I would claim that I am the best. That's also a wrong statement. Then who are you? What defines you? I would say I am the fastest. I decide something and I commit something to you. Consider it done. Because my decision to implementation time frame is very, very short. That's what I tell my team also. The cost of not making a decision is always higher than the cost of making a wrong decision. Get it very, very clearly. The cost of not making a decision is always higher than making a wrong decision. So I tell my team, with the given information, constraints, whatsoever you have, decide. And once you decide, move forward. Course correction required, we will do it. But just because you don't have enough conviction, you don't have enough information, you don't have enough whatsoever things, don't sit on the decision and then wait things to happen, right? So from a movie's perspective, if we were to say, we are an action-filled movie, right? We are like the Rohit Shetty's movie, right? Where there is an action every scene. And of course, times like this, when we talk to definitely beautiful hosts like you, we think about some nice Bollywood songs kind of a situation. But ours is a very adventure and action-filled movie. And our time frame from decision to action is quite quick. And even if certain mistakes happen, we are very quick to course correct. Again, we are not into blame game because we know when we are taking decisions and moving fast. We may not be 100% perfect. That doesn't really matter. We will always make course corrections and come back. And so, if you were to ask me, how do you compare it with a movie? It's a fast-paced, right, an adventurous action movie. War 2 is anyway getting released. Probably ThunderPlus is synonymous to War 2.
Okay, I've asked you about your journey from your like college life.
Yeah, I come from a small town called Shrungavarapukota. Very tough to pronounce for friends from north, right? So we call it Escota.
Okay, yeah.
And in fact, most of my studies until my early primary school, it was all in the local medium. I still remember once my teacher was asking a question and she said, "You will have to respond only in English." Okay. So I knew the answer. I wanted to respond. So मुझे बोलना है, right? मैं आंसर करूंगा. That's the Hindi version of it.
Yeah.
Correct. So मुझे is I. बोलना है is tell. Tell, told, telling. I had absolutely no clue. So when my teacher asked who would answer this question, I raised my voice and I screamed at the top of my lungs saying, I telling, because I was from a Telugu medium school. The whole class burst into laughter. Okay. I felt really bad. I really felt bad. I felt humiliated. This was in my fourth standard. Then again, by God's grace, I made a decision then. Okay. Until now, things were not in my control, neither my school whatsoever. But when I grow up and when I speak, everyone must listen in awe. So since then, I enrolled myself into special grammar classes. I worked upon even now my accent is not that right. I continue to work, right? I added a lot of vocabulary, etc. And trust me, God has given me opportunities where the ministers, the chief secretaries were in the audience, and I had an opportunity to deliver talks. The leaders of different organizations, including the co-founder of Tesla, were in the audience, and I had an opportunity to talk, right? So probably what I would say here is there's nothing that is impossible if you decide. So that was my humble beginning. And from there on, I had an opportunity again by the grace of God to enter into world's or premium institute, IIT Madras Indian Institute of Technology, where I met some of the brightest minds. In fact, Ather, that you all know, Tarun Mehta and Swapnil, both of them are from my same hostel. They are 1 year junior to me. And we are from the same engineering department, right? Then after my engineering, I joined a company called TVS Motors as a design engineer. From TVS, I joined Bosch, worked in Germany for about a year's time. And from Bosch, I moved to Mahindra, and from Mahindra to Ito Motors, Mahindra to Gati Logistics to Ito Motors. From Ito Motors, I received a call from the government of Andhra Pradesh asking them to develop the EV charging policy and lead their investment promotions. So I was with the government of Andhra Pradesh for about a year and a half. Then after that, I thought, okay, I must expand my wings. So I went to US, finished my MBA, saw the world is very big, a lot of opportunities, came back, and then I started multiple companies, and one of that is ThunderPlus. So the journey, by the grace of God, has been good. And probably I hope you are inspired, but even if you are not inspired, maybe what I would like to say is do not be limited by your language skills. Do not be limited by your education. Do not be limited by a thought that I come from a small gaon, right? A small town or a small family. No. You definitely have no control on all of these things. But what you have control is yourself. Right? You have two options. Continue to blame upon parents, continue to blame upon family, continue to blame upon your financial situations and be there, or pick up that responsibility and say, hey, I have no control there, but I have control on myself. Work in yourself, invest in yourself, learn, understand, grow, meet, learn. Trust me, when you start working in yourself and when you are able to see where your future yourself want to be, nobody and nothing in the world can ever stop you.
Who motivate you?
That's a good question. So, my favorite book where I get a lot of inspiration every day is Bible. In Bible, there are few specific, I would say, verses or sentences which inspire me a lot. The first one, it says, do you know a man who is skilled at his work? He will not stand before ordinary men, but before kings. So that is very clear that means you need to be really, really skilled at what you do. No mediocre performance, no intermediate performance. When you do the job, that needs to be the world's best deliverable, right? Second one, it also says that, if you do that really well, I will make your feet like hinds feet and make you walk upon high places. That means once you start doing it well, there are only those high places that you go. And it also says that if you lack wisdom, you ask, it shall be given, right? So I think these three are my biggest motivators. And of course, you learn every day everything from everybody. So I believe that if you have the heart to learn, if you have the passion to be inspired, everything, every living being, every person can actually inspire you. It's all about you, how you draw that inspiration.
So like everyone is listening your podcast obviously, and everyone need a motivation from your side. So I just want to know if anybody, like those who want to start their career in EV especially, how they can start and how they can be a part of your journey.
Yeah. These days, these are the days of entrepreneurship, right? Everybody wants to start something on their own. Everybody wants to build. So I provide a platform to all of them. They can become ThunderPlus franchisee partners. What does it mean? It means this, right? If you look at the other, again, this is where innovation comes into picture. If you look at a regular electric vehicle charging franchise, it costs anywhere up and above 30 lakhs, 50 lakh rupees. That way, I am limiting this from people. Only people who are able to afford can do that. Then I thought, why can't a regular Aam Aadmi who has the desire to start at a smaller level, can't he do it? Right? All he needs to do is some space. Maybe he will have space outside his shop or outside his home, and he needs some technology support which I can give. So from a 30 lakhs franchisee fees, ThunderPlus franchisee fees starts at 2 lakh rupees only. Does it mean that I don't have bigger ambitions? Of course. See, if you have an empty space, say for example 500 square yard space, and probably it is on the highways or it is on a prominent place, and you want to convert that, then we have franchises at 30 lakh rupees also, which can, of course, the more invest, the better you returns are, right? So for anybody who wants to engage with ThunderPlus Business Partners Program or ThunderPlus Franchise Program is something. Somebody might say, hey, I only have money. I don't have land, or I don't have space, I don't have power. What do I do? I said, hey, we have Business Partners Program. As part of which, what we do is, we give you partial ownership of a charging station. Say, for example, one charging station to set it up has costed 1 crore rupees. And say it is giving us close to around 18 lakh rupees per annum, right? 18%. Now, if you were to say, hey, Rajiv, I have 30 lakh rupees. I would say, yes, 30 lakh rupees, I will make you a 1/3 owner of that particular station, and I will start sharing 1/3 of the 18 lakhs with you, which is, say, for example, 6 lakhs, right? So, franchisee program is something that you can associate with. And second thing is business partners program. Both of them are great opportunities for you to begin your entrepreneurial journey in the EV industry.
I love reading books.
Okay.
So I really want to know, which is your favorite book?
See, there are multiple books that I love. And one of the best books which I continue to read. And there is one book called 1 Minute Manager. Right, that you really need to pick it up. And there is also another book which I started reading right now. Basically, this is called the high octane or high frequency person. Basically, this book encourages you to stay hatke, right? And yeah, any such kind of leadership books I really love to read.
Any particular like business related a book you suggest?
So definitely, financial education is something one needs to really understand. Again, financial education is not that, I would say, I don't necessarily say that they will only have to get it from the financial books. For example, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? A beautiful book that talks about, right, the fundamentals of financial education. And then Psychology of Money is again another good book. Right. So these are fundamental books. They are good narrations, and at the same time, they teach you the fundamentals of finance, etc. Yeah.
What one thing you are going to suggest?
See, one thing is be curious always, right? And do not ever feel ashamed of trying to know things that you do not know, right? For example, have you started walking from the day you were born? No. You fell few thousand times before you took that first step. Have you started swimming as soon as you're put in a pool? No. You practiced for weeks before mastering the strokes, right? Have you started coding? Absolutely. Have you started editing the day you picked up a computer? No, right? Everything has its time, and learning need not be synonymous to incapability. No, most of the times what happens is we associate ourselves, learning means you're not capable. No, be shameless. Be curious. Learn whatever you do not want to learn and start questioning the status quo. Don't accept, no, this is my life. That's it. I am built like this. No. Start thinking. Once, see, I believe in this 3-factor formula, right? Number one, generally what people say is your actions are defined by your thoughts and are defined by your belief system. A very, very beautiful example. There is a person here who says, Arey, I anyway will fail this examination. And he will definitely fail in the examination. There is another person who is going to excel in everything that is. Major difference is simple. His belief system is he is going to fail.
Yeah.
So his thoughts are fail. Will he prepare for the exam? No, because he believed that he is going to be a failure. His thinking also in the same direction, and hence the actions also will be the same. Now what happens? These actions will influence his belief system, and he will continue to be a downward spiral. Whereas the other guy comes from an, hey, मुझे ये job चाहिए. I need to crack this exam. See, the action is positive. So he will start thinking in that particular direction. And he will start preparing in that particular direction, and hence the results also positive. And once the results are positive, again it reinforces the belief system. मैं तो कर सकता हूँ. Then that belief system will inspire his actions or thoughts, and those actions will result in positive things, right? So always never assume things, take things for granted. Never assume negative outcome. Always believe that you are going to rock it, you are going to crack it, and you will crack it and you will rock it. Trust me.
I have one more question. Like there are like number of entrepreneurs.
Correct.
Those who want to start their
Correct.
business. कुछ टाइम तक स्टार्ट करने के बाद वो सोचते हैं कि नहीं, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू डू इट, मुझसे नहीं होगा.
Correct.
So what is the one suggestion you are going to give them?
See, it is all dependent on. See, first thing, I will not recommend that everybody should become an entrepreneur. No,
Yeah.
not required. That's not the right thing, right? There is a time frame. Say, for example, between 18 to 25, you do not have financial obligations, right? You do not have family commitments. You want to try. 18 to 25 is the best time for you to try entrepreneurship. You fail, that's okay. You learn a lot. But probably between 30 to 35, you are married, you have kids, you have obligations. You want to experiment, then probably I would not really encourage, right? So one thing you need to be prepared is, as an entrepreneur, you are doomed to fail,
Okay.
right? If you have the ability to take that failure, get into things, right? If not, even when you're working, work like an entrepreneur, right? Work like an entrepreneur. That's what you say. End-to-end response. When something comes to you, you are accountable. You work like the owner of that particular business, right?
Thank you for the lovely conversation, and it's very inspiring. I learned a lot while sitting with you. Definitely our audience gonna love it. And thanks again. Thanks for coming to our podcast.
Thank you very much, Navneet, for having me. And trust me, you've been an amazing host. You brought the, I would say, right precepts, right learnings for the audience to learn. And for all the audience, electric mobility as an industry is a beautiful industry with a lot of opportunities awaiting you, right? Seize the opportunity. And if you want to succeed, we are all here to support and help you. Once again, I think Karo Startup, you have been doing an amazing job in inspiring people to take the path less traveled, right? That's
Thank
the path
you so
of
much.
entrepreneurship.
Thank you so
So my kudos to the founders, my kudos to the entire team. And I look forward to meeting you again.
Thank you so much.
See you.
Same.
Bye.
Same.
Thank you.